My brothers and sisters, today we march from one devastating event to another devastating event. Many out of work, many quarantined, empty shelves at the stores, children out of school, young people shooting each other in the streets. And in the midst of all that, at this very moment of chaos, our people divide, separate, and fight. And when I say fight, I mean burn, kill, loot, block innocent people from using streets, fighting each other about things that can be fixed, things that we can agree on, like punishing bad police, ensuring fair and equal treatment from banks, employers, schools, the criminal justice system. But instead of working together, our people fight each other. There's much talk about slavery today. I think we could all benefit from putting some biblical perspective on the subject of slavery. American slavery brings to mind those Israelite people, also held in the bondage of slavery for a very long time. And even when God delivered them from slavery, they traveled a long, hard road to freedom. The two have areas of comparison: ancient Israelite slavery and American slavery. The Israelites' long, hard road to freedom began when they crossed the Red Sea. American slavery began when they crossed the Atlantic Ocean. Just as God delivered Israelites from slavery, so did he also deliver American slaves from slavery. And remember that the deliverance of American slaves was aided by the blood of 630,000 young white men and a number of black men who died fighting in the Civil War against the Confederacy. There aren't enough statues honoring the sacrifices of those men to our long walk on the hard road to freedom. Even after they were freed, the Israelites had to spend long years on this road to freedom. They wandered through the desert 2 generations. They experienced physical trials and spiritual challenges. Many did not survive. They were sorely tested by the hot desert sand and the hot desert sun. They were made physically strong and emotionally powerful by these God-sent challenges. Similarly, after the American slaves were freed, they too had to spend years on the long, hard road to freedom. They fought and worked through lynchings, bombings, segregation, discrimination. Like the Israelites, God sent physical trials and spiritual challenges. And like the Israelites, many did not survive. And just like the Israelites, God made of the freed American slaves a stronger, wiser people. And he gave both the Americans and the Israelites abundant blessings of opportunity. That takes me to my text for today. In the book of Romans, at the 8th chapter, the 28th verse, it is written, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose." That means you got to get on God's team. Those who love God and those who are called to his purpose, to those people, to the people on God's team, all things work together for good. He took the people of Israel all the way through suffering and discrimination, unfair treatment, physical pain, emotional turmoil, all so that the people of Israel might become disciplined, might be made stronger and wiser, that they might be made more spiritual. Sometimes he has to remind us. He reminds us who got us here. You should read the 8th chapter of Deuteronomy. Read how he reminds us that he is in charge. He reminded them, I led you all these years through the wilderness. I fed you. I taught you wisdom. And that is God's message to America today. I brought you this far. I fed and clothed you. I taught you wisdom and gave you strength. Have you somehow forgotten that I am the one who brought you here? He reminds us that to those who love God and to those on God's team, all things work together for good. Black Americans, white Americans, brown, red, and yellow Americans, of all the nations on earth, has he not made America greater than all others, richer, mightier than all other nations? Isn't it God who brought us here? But we seem to have forgotten him. We seem to have turned our backs on him. We are squabbling among ourselves when we should be pulling together, solving problems together, making for our families a fairer, safer, more equal tomorrow. But instead, we fight about yesterday. We may need to remind ourselves that not only did God bring the challenging and trying storms into our lives, but also that God promised to make something good come out of those storms. That's the whole meaning of Romans 8:28. To those who love God and those who are called to his purpose, to those who are on God's team, to them all things work together for good. Out of the slavery of the Israelites, God brought forth a powerful and enduring people, a people who have been hardworking and successful upon the earth. Out of America's slavery, God brought forth a creative and powerful people. It is important that those descendants of American slavery join fully with this nation, work cooperatively with this nation, and achieve the fullest measure of the blessing of opportunity that God has bestowed upon us. Burning, looting, and killing will not advance our travels down this long, hard road to freedom. Cooperation and unity are the keys to our future. The Bible teaches us and history teaches us that the road to freedom is indeed long and hard. Life is not a crystal stair. But we should not walk this road alone. We must lock arms and hold hands, Americans. We must walk the rest of this long, hard road together. Please join God's team. Get on God's train. Come, join us. We are going to walk this road to freedom. This long, hard road to freedom. We are going to walk this road together. And we are going to walk this road with God. Happy that I have you. So